Alright, so in this video we're just going to do a quick run through of how to make a basic running character that you can jump on and kill and he can deal damage to you. Let's get into it. So I start things off by grabbing a sprite pack, and then after that I start bringing his animations into a sprite so that we can parse them easily with our code. Then with that done, we'll export them out of a sprite with a texture file and an atlas JSON file. First step in Phaser land is to import or load those two files and give them a key of Mochi. We then parse the animations in the create function of the preloader. And I start just writing out a skeleton for the Mochi sprite, save it as mochi.js, import them into our sort of index level, whatever you want to call it, index I guess. And then write the little if statement here that checks for a Mochi object in the map, and then spawns a sprite accordingly. And then with that in place, we can go into the map editor and add a Mochi. And with that, we've got a little Mochi character added into the scene. Then we give the Mochi class a property of target and reference the hero in there. So we start out by giving the Mochi a directional velocity, in this case positive 100 in the X. We play his running animation on repeat, and then we write the code that will flip the Mochi sprite based on the direction it's moving, so it'll always be facing its direction of movement. And we start scaffolding out some of the animation code here, so if he's on the ground, if his velocity y is 0, we'll play his running animation, because when he's on the ground he's always running. And then if his velocity y isn't 0, we can assume he's jumping, but we'll put another if statement right up top and else if out the other one. That just says it should play his hurt animation if he's dead. Then we write a condition here that checks if he's blocked from the right and switches out his speed. And we do the same for the left. And what that does is it makes him jump off of, or bounce off of walls and run in the opposite direction when he comes into contact with a wall. So you can see that in action here. Reduces speed a little bit. Then at this point we want to code in some HP for him. So we'll swap out is dead as instead of a boolean, we're going to use if his HP is less than or equal to 0, then that counts as him being dead. Give him a max HP and set the HP to the max HP instead, just sort of a good standard to do there. Copy out the overlap function that we wrote for the orange character previously. We'll switch that out for HP is less than or equal to 0, same as before. HP minus equals 1 instead of is dead is true. Plays the hurt animation. If he is dead, aka HP is less than or equal to 0, we'll sort of bounce him up a little bit and just grab the collider out of there, and we'll disable that so that he just sort of falls off the map. Call it ground block destroy, scene dot. And there you go, you can see it working in action. The only problem right now with how that's set up is it doesn't seem to be respecting his HP. Just sort of kills him instantly when we want it to take a second for him to sort of be invincible after taking a hit. So let's code that in now. So we'll give it an isHurt property and set that to false. And we'll say else if he's not hurt, then we should execute the code that's going to hurt him. Make sure we flip isHurt to true. We'll create a delayed call on the time property of the scene, which flips isHurt back to false after 1 second. We'll add a blinking animation so that the player can actually tell when the Mochi character is invincible. We'll just make sure we stop that tween in the delayed call and set the alpha back to 1. We'll also set the velocity of the character back to what it was before he got hurt. And then the last thing we have to do from that point is just set the bounding boxes to adequately encompass the sprite's actual pixels. And this is just a little bit of fiddly work, just kind of doing it by eye here. I tweaked up the gravity a little bit here as well and just increased the jump velocity of the hero, just to make it a little bit more realistic looking physics. And here's how it looks.